High Overlord Varok Saurfang is the younger brother of Broxigar and a renowned orc warrior of the Blackrock clan.
Broxigar was a veteran orc warrior whose comrades were slaughtered in battle and who sought his own death in battle because of his guilt. Sent back in time to the War of the Ancients, Brox became an important figure in the war and chronologically the first orc ever encountered on Azeroth in the New Alter timeline. At the final battle of the war, Broxigar leapt through the portal, opening the collapsing well of eternity, and died in a blaze of glory after becoming one of the only known mortals to ever inflict a wound on Sargeras himself. The Blackrock clan is a prominent orcish clan originally hailing from the caverns of Gorgrond on Draenor. They were known for their strict military discipline and skills in mining and blacksmithing. One of the first orcish clans to be taught the ways of fel magic, the Blackrocks were the strongest faction within the Old Horde during the course of the First and Second Wars. The Horde's first two war chiefs, Blackhand and his deposer Orgrim Doomhammer, were both Blackrocks as well.
Following the Horde's defeat, many of the remaining Blackrocks joined forces with Blackhand's sons, Rend and Maim, in what would become known as the Dark Horde at Blackrock Mountain. During the Third War, a faction of the clan in Lordaeron attempted to revive the old demon-worshipping traditions, but then were thwarted by the alliance of Lordaeron and later the Scourge. The Blackrocks initially did not join Thrall's new Horde, instead choosing to pursue their own darker paths under Rend's leadership, but many of them were later granted amnesty by then War Chief Garrosh Hellscream, a famed veteran of the First, Second, and Third Wars. He served as War Chief Orgrim Doomhammer's second-in-command during the Second War, and as the Supreme Commander of the Combined Might of Kalimdor during the Second War of the Shifting Sands against the Karaji of Ahn'Qiraj.
Aim of our retribution is at hand! Azeroth will burn!
He later led the Kor'kron against the Scourge in Northrend and assisted Thrall during the Siege of Orgrimmar.
The Kor'kron were an elite fighting force of the Horde, serving the personal bodyguards of the War Chief and the enforcers of their command. They are stationed in many areas, including the War Chief's own fortress of Grommash Hold in Orgrimmar. The Kor'kron were originally an elite band of orcs that served as Thrall's bodyguards. They seem to be an order that Thrall revived. They, with one exception, are fiercely loyal to whomever is leading the Horde, not particular to an individual. Under Garrosh Hellscream's regime, the Kor'kron greatly expanded in power, narrowing its racial composition down to almost universally orcs. They served as the War Chief's primary soldiers during the Siege of Orgrimmar until Hellscream's forced removal from power. The Kor'kron sustained heavy casualties during the siege, including the death of its leader, Malkorok, and several other celebrated generals. With Vol'jin's ascension to the War Chief and the Horde, the surviving Kor'kron were placed in prisons, save for those who had defected, such as Greg-Korok.
Varok Saurfang was born on Draenor as a member of the Blackrock clan and the younger brother of Broxigar. Broxigar and Varok also had an unnamed half-brother, sharing the same mother but different fathers. Shortly after Blackhand was named War Chief of the Horde, 5 years before the opening of the Dark Portal, he named Varok, Eitric, and Orgrim Doomhammer as his lieutenants, and they helped oversee the Blackrock war machine as it prepared for the war with the Draenei. Varok made the free decision to drink the blood of Mannoroth alongside Grommash Hellscream and led the forces into sacking of Shattrath, the blood curse causing them to murder many innocent Draenei, children included.
Grommash Hellscream accepting the blood of Mannoroth. The blood curse is the curse laid upon orcs when they consume fel blood of a pitlord. Gul'dan had persuaded the orcs war chiefs of Draenor to drink the demon blood, and it was this stain that hounded them for so long. Even those who had not partaken found themselves developing a unique thirst for slaughter. Their skin turned green with pain.
Yes, I will build a new Horde. I will forge you into an unstoppable weapon. You will be the scourge of 100 worlds. The might of a legion.
Around the time of the Dark Portal opening, Varok's mate apparently died and was burned in the ground. Having promised his mate that their son would not be exposed to the Warlocks or cross the portal, their son Dronosh was hidden away in Nagrand, while Varok charged into the world of Azeroth, commanding Blackhand's army like an unstoppable force towards Stormwind, never losing in battle until the Horde was routed at the end of the Second War.
Draenor Saurfang, often called Saurfang the Younger, was the son of Varok Saurfang and the nephew of Broxigar the Red. His mother's identity is not known. Draenosh was very much like his father and uncle, a fierce warrior to the end. He was a strong believer in the ideals of honor espoused by his father. After he fell to Frostmourne at the Battle of Angriflar the Wrathgate, he was raised in undeath by the Lich King as Deathbringer Saurfang, also known as the Turn Champion. He was then brought to Icecrown Citadel, where he barred the path of any champion seeking to lay siege to his new master's fortress. He was killed for good in the ensuing battle.
Join me and we will crush this world in the name of the Scourge for the glory of the Lich King.
My boy died at the Wrathgate. I am here only to collect his body.
At some point during the Third War, Varok fought alongside with Troll Hakazi. He participated in the Battle of Mount Hyjal, witnessing Archimonde's fall to the Wisps.
The Battle of Mount Hyjal was the final bloody conflict that concluded the Third War. The battle was the culmination of years of fighting between the various mortal forces of Azeroth and the demonic and undead armies of the Burning Legion, and saw the demons' invasion end in a decisive failure. Specifically, the event took place as part of the invasion of Kalmador phase of the war, where Archimonde struck directly at the World Tree Nordersil on Mount Hyjal as part of his endgame. The battle began when a mortal coalition of the Night Elves, Alliance, and New Horde elements arrayed themselves before the World Tree to halt Archimonde's advance. Though they were unable to stand against the Legion indefinitely, they aimed to buy time for Malfurion Stormrage to prepare a proper defense. After terrible fighting, the conflict would end dramatically when Archimonde himself finally did reach Nordersil. An army of wisps called by Malfurion was successful in igniting the World Tree's enchantments in a large explosion, vaporizing the demon commander. In addition to closing the Third War, this victory also marked the end of the Age of Chaos and the Legion's greatest defeat since the War of the Ancients. For many years, relations between the mortal races would be defined by their cooperation at Mount Hyjal, which saved Azeroth from certain destruction.
After the demonic bloodlust had been lifted from the orcs due to Grommash Hellscream's sacrifice, Varok helped dozens of veterans come to grips with their previous atrocities, ultimately saving the lives of many great Horde soldiers. His own actions under the Blood Curse, however, continued to haunt him, as the sound of swine being killed when they are ready to slaughter reminded him of the death screams of the Janai children, and older veterans like Varok are often troubled by the memory. It disturbed Varok so deeply that he refused to eat pork ever since. He will not shy away from war or hesitate to defend his people and the Horde. However, he refuses to start a war. If it is within his power, he will prevent a warmongering spirit from doing so. Whether through actions or by words, he will stop them any way he can, no matter what. Saurfang was initially stationed in Orgrimmar's Valley of Strength, where he enforced the rule of War Chief Thrall. He was the one who announced the death of Nefarian when his head was turned in.
Nefarian was the eldest son of Deathwing and his prime consort of Cytharia. Like his father and sister Onyxia, he had a human guise, appearing as Victor Nefarious, Lord of Blackrock. Holding the Blackrock clan and various clans of ogres under his control, Nefarian ruled from atop his lair in the Blackrock Spire, until he was defeated by the champions of Azeroth. Upon the return of his father and the shattering that resulted, Nefarian was brought back to life as a rotted abomination. He descended further into the Blackrock Mountain, where he set up a laboratory full of new and mostly failed experiments, including reanimating his sister Onyxia. Ultimately, he was destroyed once again by Azeroth's champions.
During the Second War of the Shifting Sands, Saurfang traveled to the front lines of Silithus. He acted as a supreme commander of the might of Kalimdor in the war against the Silithids and their Karaji masters. Saurfang is stationed in Warsong Hold as an advisor to Garrosh Hellscream. He commands the Kor'kron in Northern and remains wary of the resurfacing bloodlust of the Orcs, due to his employment in Hellscream's savage but successful tactics. Varok also assisted in adventurers killing Veridus the Flencer, but insisted on not telling Garrosh about it. During the Battle of Angrathar the Wrathgate, the main entrance to Icecrown, Varok Saurfang fell to the Lich King shortly before the treachery of Grand Apothecary Petrus.
Angrathar the Wrathgate is a barred entrance to Icecrown Citadel and is located in the northwest of Dragonblight. The Wrathgate is under siege by both Horde and Alliance forces. They have set up bases of Four Dragon Hold for the Alliance and Korkon Vanguard for the Horde. Their forces intend to storm the Citadel. Grand Apothecary Petrus was the chief apothecary for the Forsaken Royal Apothecary Society. He played a vital role in the development of the new plague the Forsaken sought to create.
Adventurers brought Janosh's shattered armor back to his father at the behest of Alexstrasza.
Alexstrasza the Lifebender, former aspect of the Red Dragonflight, is the guardian of all life in the world of Azeroth. She was one of the 5 dragons chosen by the Titans to be empowered with a portion of the Pantheon's power to rule over the Flight when they watched over Azeroth and its inhabitants. The Titans also appointed her Queen of all Dragons.
After the Battle of Undercity, Varok reminded Thrall, who was lamenting the broken peace between the Alliance and the Horde, of its duties to lead their people.
Shortly after the Battle of Angrathar the Wrathgate begins and Varok Saurfang is slain by the Lich King, the Grand Apothecary Petrus appears on a cliff overlooking the battlefield and uses the Forsaken catapults to unleash the newly developed plague on the unsuspecting forces gathered below. The losses on all sides are great, and perhaps the greatest loss is the death of the Alliance hero, High Lord Bolvar Fourdragon. Determined not to allow the Dreadlords a foothold in the Horde territory, Thrall and Sylvanas plan to immediate counterattack. In the midst of their planning, Jaina Proudmoore arrived there with terrible news. In the wake of Bolvar Fourdragon's death, King Varian was prepared for a possible war with the Horde. After fighting the Forsaken rebels and the demons within, the combined might of the Horde slew the traitorous demon Viramathras. Soon after, it's revealed that Putris and several members of the Royal Apothecary Society had sided with Varamathras, who had secretly remained loyal to his Netherism brothers and the Burning Legion while serving under Sylvanas Windrunner. Together, the two had orchestrated the coup d'etat and forcefully taken control of the Undercity, nearly killing Sylvanas in the process.
Varrock delivered a message from Khorne Blackscar to Garrosh and Thrall that arrived to the Warsong Hold after the Dalaran meeting. High Overlord Saurfang commanded the gunship Ogrim's Doomhammer, the gunship battle in Icecrown Citadel. Once the undead form of his son, now called the Deathbringer, is defeated, Varrock is also engaged with Meriden Bronzebeard to not permit him to pass. Varian and Jaina arrived, and Varian tells Meriden to let him pass and claim his son's body. Varrock will not forget the king's kindness before leaving. He promises to give his son a proper ceremony in Nagrand, next to the pyres of his mothers and his ancestors. He ends with saying to the Horde players, "Honor young heroes. No matter how dire the battle, never forsake it." Thrall mentioned that he would head over to Orgrimmar to find any orcs that wished to rebel against Garrosh, especially Eitrigg and Saurfang. Saurfang arrived at the siege to fulfill the promise he made with Garrosh many years before. He met with Thrall and attempted to enter Orgrimmar, but was stopped by Nazgrim.
In life, Nazgrim was one of the greatest generals of the Horde. In death, he is a powerful champion of the Ebon Blade. Few living or dead can match his might in battle. Nazgrim was a reoccurring orc quest giver and first appeared in the Grizzly Hills as a sergeant. After the Lich King's defeat during the Cataclysm, he was promoted to the Legionnaire and sent to Vashj'ir. After escaping the Naga there, he was promoted to General and sent to Pandaria. Upholding his oath to the Warchief, Nazgrim remained loyal to Garrosh Hellscream during the Darkspear Rebellion, and he was killed during the Siege of Orgrimmar. During the Burning Legion's third invasion, the Death Lord of the Ebon Blade later brought Nazgrim back into Undeath as the first of the new Four Horsemen. Nazgrim sent the Kor'kron army away and let 2 orcs inside, but could not guarantee their safety. Varrock then followed Thrall to the lair of Hellscream below Orgrimmar. However, he becomes injured in battle against Mantid and insists that Thrall continues without him. He is later encountered by heroes seeking to destroy Hellscream in the end of his reign and asks them about the fate of General Nazgrim. He is saddened to hear that Nazgrim's demise and latent loss of the great leader and the warrior Nazgrim has been. He then retrieves his axe from the dead Mantid and returns to the surface.
Saurfang accompanied Goel and Eitrigg to the trial of Garrosh Hellscream. He agreed with Bane and Garrosh's defenders. Acknowledged as a hero by the Horde and the Alliance alike, he was called upon by Tyrande Whisperin as the third witness, and told the court of his conflicts with Garrosh and Northrend, his threat to kill Garrosh should he take the orcs down another dark road, and his subsequent uprising against Garrosh in the Siege of Orgrimmar, and seen as proof by many that Garrosh had gone too far in his eyes of some fellow orcs. However, Saurfang did not desire the court to give Garrosh a death sentence. Were it up to him, Garrosh's love of his people would have earned him the trial to Orcish customs, and a Mak'gora against Saurfang. The Mak'gora means duel of honor, and repent or perish for his crimes.
You must answer for your crimes, Garrosh. of the Horde. You made me war chief! You left me to pick up your pieces! You failed me! You never had the strength of a true warrior. I do not rely on strength alone, Garrosh. My power is all around you. You made me what I am. No. You chose your own destiny.
Back in Orgrimmar, Varrock became commander of the city defenses. Following the Battle of the Broken Shore, Varrock barred the entrance to Grommash Hold to select few, and allowed the adventurer entry to see the dying Vol'jin.
The Shadow Hunter Vol'jin, son of Sinjin, was the war chief of the Horde as well as the chieftain of the Darkspear tribe and the rightful ruler of Durotar and the Echo Isles. Vol'jin had sworn to do everything in his power to lead the Darkspear tribe just as his late father Sinjin would have. For years, Vol'jin resided in Orgrimmar, offering strategic advice to then War Chief Thrall, and assisting with critical operations such as retaking the Undercity after the Forsaken Bastion had been absurd by Grand Apothecary Putris and Dreadlord Varamathras. During the Cataclysm, however, Vol'jin came into conflict with the Horde's new War Chief, Garrosh Hellscream. Alienated by the Warwick's extremism and lust for war, the Troll leader departed from Orgrimmar and took up residence in Darkspear Isle. Despite his conflict with the new war chief, Vol'jin remained loyal to the Horde and opposed the efforts of the Zandari to create a new troll empire in the wake of the Cataclysm. By the time the war between the Alliance and the Horde came to the shores of Pandaria, Vol'jin had been a bitter enemy of Garrosh. After surviving an assassination attempt by one of the Hellscream Kor'khan, Vol'jin went into hiding, with rallying support within the Horde itself to end Garrosh's reign. With Garrosh's defeat and capture, Vol'jin was led to assume the mantle of the War Chief of the Horde, with the personal encouragement of Thrall as well as the rest of the Horde's leadership, becoming the first non-orc to earn the title. He ruled the Horde until he was mortally wounded during the battle for the Broken Shore. Though he was evacuated back to Orgrimmar, he succumbed to fell poisoning from his wound. Following the guidance of the Loa, with his dying breath he named Sylvanas Windrunner, the Queen of the Forsaken, as the new War Chief of the Horde.
Vol'jin is dead. Who among you will help me avenge him?
Varrock later traveled to the Broken Shore with a warrior adventurer, believing that he needed to regain his valor after the disastrous battle on the island. Unfortunately, he got shot by a fell cannon midair, asking the adventurer to proceed and make them pay. Mastersmith Helgar the Valajar later sent a warrior adventurer to find Varrock and duel him on the Broken Shore, as he is believed to be the greatest axe wielder on Azeroth and could be an inspiration to forge the Arcanite Bladebreaker. When a Horde player reaches Prestige Rank 2, Varrock can be found in the Undercity along other notable leaders of the Horde. During a royal audience, he is present at the ceremony hosted by the newly elected War Chief Windrunner that congratulates the characters for their battles against the Alliance, following their receiving of the High Warlord Medal of Valor from the War Chief as well as an artifact appearance.
Before you stands the Horde's greatest champion, hero of countless victories against our unrelenting foe. The ancient weapon they wield inspires fear in the hearts of those who would threaten our way of life. So join me, heroes, in honoring our champion, Bane of the Alliance, for the Horde!
Following the end of the Argus campaign, also referred to as the last battle for Argus or the Shadows of Argus, is the battle between the Azeroth's defenders, the Army of the Light, and the Argusian breach against the Burning Legion on Argus. Varok Saurfang was the last Horde leader to join the Orgrimmar parade. Though Warchief Sylvanas Windrunner grudgingly respected Varok, she also sensed that out of all the Horde leaders, Varok was the most likely the one to challenge and outright oppose her should she misstep too badly. At a dinner celebrating the Legion's defeat, Saurfang and Bane expressed distrust towards Gallywix, who went to speak with Sylvanas privately about a mysterious new substance.
War Chief, a moment of your time.
The blood of Azeroth crystallized into chunks of azerite, an extremely potent and powerful material. Azerite is the name given to the crystallized blood of Azeroth. When Sargeras stabbed the world with his sword, it caused her to bleed her life essence all over the world. The Alliance and the Horde are now fighting over it.
When Bane told Saurfang that Gallywix had been sending many of his goblins to Silithus, Saurfang angrily stated that nothing good ever came from Silithus. He later arrived in Orgrimmar Embassy with other leaders. During the Horde's march on Ashenvale, the forces led by Saurfang were lured out into the opening by Malfurion Stormrage and Ashtranar.
For the Horde!
That sound. Could it be? Shondo, the Horde is approaching from the north!
The north? How did... Oh, they scaled the mountains of Felwood. Of course, the wisps. They're growing disoriented. The wall is failing.
Horde forces are advancing upon Lordanel. Champion, to me!
It is only a matter of time before the Horde breaks through. They will attack us from both sides. Sylvanas seeks to engage me, and I plan to give her what she wants.
Malfurion Stormrage was the first mortal druid on Azeroth, and the Night Elf who initiated the mainstream use of druidism among the Kaldorei people 10 millennia ago, under the tutelage of the demigod Cenarius. He is the twin brother of Illidan Stormrage, as well as the loving and beloved husband of the High Priestess of Elune, Tyrande Whisperwind. Together, the two have represented the highest leadership of the Night Elves ever since the fall of Queen Azshara and her highborn caste.
Entranced by the power they offered, our queen betrayed us to the ruin of the world.
Through Malfurion's guidance, the Night Elves successfully halted the Burning Legion's first invasion of Azeroth during the legendary War of the Ancients. In its aftermath, he became the greatest of the world's archdruids. Malfurion and his druids slept to protect the Emerald Dream for 10,000 years and rebuild the world while his lover Tyrande was promoted to General of the Sentinels and would protect Kalimdor. Malfurion and Tyrande then led the Night Elves in the Third War, defeating the Burning Legion as they had done ages past at Battle of Mount Hyjal. He subsequently fell into a comatose state while in the Emerald Dream. After recovering in the wake of Cataclysm, Malfurion and Tyrande were wedded and now led their people as one. Malfurion is often referred to as Shando, which means honored teacher in Darnasian. Connected deeply to the ebbs and flows of life on Azeroth and bearing ages of responsibility and wisdom, he's one of the mightiest and most veteran mortals in the Warcraft universe.
Ashtranar, being an island, was somewhere that Saurfang realized the Horde could not escape from. Saurfang challenged Malfurion to Mak Gorah, but Malfurion did not care and simply attacked. He overwhelmed Saurfang and used roots to bind his legs. Saurfang admitted to himself that there was nothing he could do against Malfurion's power, but as the inn began to collapse around them, Sylvanas fired an arrow of dark magic at Malfurion, distracting him from Saurfang. On the eve of the battle for Lordaeron was fought by the Alliance and the Horde for control of Undercity. The result of the burning of Teldrassil, it marks the beginning of battle for Azeroth. Varok went up the ramparts of Lordaeron's keep. The Alliance forces were amassing before the fortress as retaliation for the burning of Teldrassil, something he had warned Warchief Sylvanas of.
There is no honor in this. They will come for us now. All of them!
With the emergence of Azerite, Warchief Sylvanas Windrunner feared the Alliance would use it to build powerful weapons, which they would sooner or later turn upon the Undercity and Silvermoon City before their gaze fell upon Kalimdor. She thus preemptively struck by launching a campaign to capture the World Tree Teldrassil, which the Alliance used as a safe harbor to funnel Azerite from Kalimdor to the Eastern Kingdoms. By occupying Darnassus, the Horde could control the flow of Azerite and ensure that it could not be used against them. The Alliance would also not dare attack the city for fear of hurting civilians. Knowing the Night Elves would resist them at every step of the way, including during occupation, she also planned to kill Malfurion Stormrage. Losing someone in whom they had absolutely trust and faith, a living symbol of hope, would surely break their spirits.
When Sylvanas Windrunner launched a sneak attack on Ashenvale, the majority of the Night Elf army was too close to Silithus and couldn't get back to defend. It would take time for the Alliance Navy to arrive as well. The defense of Northern Kalimdor thus relied on Malfurion Stormrage, and Captain Delaire and Summermoon, and her city guard forces, and brave champions of the Alliance. The Horde started by striking hard in Ashnard, burning the village and decimating its forces. They then progressed into Darkshore, where Malfurion confronted Sylvanas. He raised an immense magical wall of wisps that blocked their way. The Horde thus fell back onto Zorumgar outpost. With their intention to conquer the World Tree now clear, Malfurion ordered Delaire to find any defenders she could to rally at Lordaenon. Sylvanas meanwhile ordered Varok Saurfang to scale the mountain of Felwood and attack from the north. After a quick aerial scouting mission, Sylvanas took the champion and a handful of her remaining forces to the wall and used her Banshee abilities to open enough of a gap for the group to sneak through. The Horde forces immediately started attacking the Night Elf defenders at the Master's Glade. The Night Elf forces set up a front at Wildbend River and have drawn the battle into the stalemate. The leaders thus then fell back onto Darnassus at Blackwood Den to prepare. As the last defenders rallied, the Horde warhorns sound from the north. Saurfang's battalion finally arrived, trapping Lordaenon from both sides. While helping trapped citizens escape and assisting the fight of Lordaenon, Malfurion and Sylvanas locked into a one-on-one combat once more. As Sylvanas was losing the battle, Saurfang snuck up behind Malfurion and incapacitated him with the throwing of his axe, gravely wounding him. Sylvanas praised Saurfang's efforts, whereas he felt it was a dishonorable blow, then gave him the order to execute Malfurion. As Tyrande arrived on the scene, she questioned why Saurfang would not kill Malfurion, to which he felt he did not deserve due to his dishonorable actions. Tyrande then gave Saurfang a choice: attempt to stop her from taking him away and die, or remain there and live. To which Saurfang offered her one of his own: take Malfurion and flee, or attempt to stop the Horde's capture of Teldrassil and die. Tyrande chose the former, hearthing both herself and Malfurion back to Stormwind with the Hearthstone given to her by Anduin Wrynn, while Saurfang went to join Sylvanas on the beach of Darkshore. When Sylvanas gave Nathanos and Saurfang the order to secure the beach and prepare to invade Teldrassil, she noticed a gravely wounded Delaire and Summermoon, who then explained that only innocents remained in Teldrassil, and that Sylvanas' war was one of hatred and rage. She attempted to remind Sylvanas of her former life, to which Sylvanas experienced a flashback of her inability to stop the Scourge invasion of Quell of the Lost. Sylvanas explained that life was pain and that hope fails, telling Delaire not to grieve, for she would soon join her loved ones. Delaire explained that she grieved for Sylvanas, for she had made life her enemy, and that was a war she could not win, that she could kill her people, but she could never kill hope. In response to this, Sylvanas turned Delaire's head to a gaze at Teldrassil in her final moments, and they gave Nathanos the order to burn Teldrassil, to which he and the rest of the Horde present complied. He was found by Zakan. He is the son of Hakazi, who fought in the Third War alongside Varok Saurfang, who asked him for advice and told him about the eagerness to die with honor and glory. Saurfang's only advice to him was not to die, and he added that there was no honor and glory in this war. Disillusioned with the Horde, the Orc removed his armor and went to meet the Alliance army head-on and alone, and finally earned the warrior death he longed for. However, the young troll rushed to him and convinced him to live another day by returning Dranosh's necklace, which Varok had left behind to burn. Varok took it the same way he retrieved it from Dranosh's body and returned back to the wall just as dawn arrived and the Alliance prepared to march forward. He defended Capital City. Taking up the Horde banner and leading the charge, the Orc leader managed to strike a blow to the Alliance leader, Anduin Wrynn, knocking down the young king, but was pushed back by King Jen Greymane. After this, Sylvanas and Saurfang looked in awe as Wrynn conjured a massive dome of light to heal and rally his wavering men, before clashing once again with the Alliance. When the Horde began to lose the battle, Saurfang was against Sylvanas' decision to use the Blight.
There must be another way, War Chief.
This is no time for sentiment, High Overlord. War demands that we take a more direct approach.
He argued with her that the Horde had to recover the bodies of the fallen as honor demanded, to which she was opposed. He then vanished, going to see the results of Sylvanas' tactics. When he returned, he confronted Sylvanas, but she didn't care about the honor.
The new plague, also known as the Forsaken Blight, or Blight is the Forsaken altered version of the powerful Plague of Undeath, which has led to the creation of the Undead Scourge. The Plague of Undeath had the effect of transforming normal humans into the undead in the service of the tyrannical Lich King. Some members of the Forsaken, including their queen Sylvanas Windrunner, were once pawns of the Lich King but were later freed. The Forsaken's aim is to create a new plague that would annihilate the Scourge itself, and ultimately during the Northrend campaign, this is successful. However, the Forsaken's plague was observed by the treacherous Grand Apothecary Putris, who proceeded to unleash it upon the Scourge and the Alliance and even the Horde. As such, the Forsaken's allies have deemed it unethical to be used again at its full potency.
Later in the fight, he was about to be killed by the Alliance soldiers, but Anduin stopped them, much to Saurfang's surprise, as he wanted an honorable death. Anduin said that his father had told him that Saurfang represented what was the best about the Horde and admired him for that, and the new king felt the same. Anduin healed Saurfang, and then ordered his men to take High Lord Overlord to the Stormwind Stockades, but to be treated with the respect that he was due.
Sylvanas will finally answer for her crimes. Champions, take him to the Stockades. Treat him with the respect he is due. When I return, we will speak of honor, and how it may yet be reclaimed.
If you return.
Rokon, Thalisra, and the Horde adventurer infiltrated the Stockades to break Zul and Talanji, but they found Saurfang. When he was freed, he did not go with them and remained in the cell.
I have taken the liberty of assembling a team for you. Retrieve my prize.
Greetings.
Aemon.
Good. We're all here. My queen has seen to everything. Our transport awaits us on the ramparts. Let's move out. Listen closely. We will not be in contact once we have entered Stormwind. You, Thalisra, and Rokon will infiltrate the stockades and extract the prisoners. Our scouts have located a hidden entrance. The Tauren and I will cover your escape. The War Chief and the Horde will disavow all knowledge of this mission should you be captured. I have supplied each of you with an easy death. If you find yourself out of options, use it. There's our way out. Get to that ship once you have the prisoners.
7th Legion be here. Whoever we breaking out, the humans not be taking chances. I be going on ahead to find the prisoners. Watch me back.
We will draw their attention. Be careful.
You not be coming with us.
I see. If you are certain, High Overlord.
None will stand in our way.
Come, this way.
Thank you. My prophet tells me you are allies.
Nah, man. I be knowing you. You be that snake that...
We have come on behalf of the Horde. I am Thalisra, and this is Rokon.
Greetings will have to wait.
Lock it down!
That be some nasty voodoo.
It is a nullification field. I cannot cast.
Follow me then.
We need to move. How do we get out?
This way!
That would be a mistake. It is the other way.
You best be right, Zul.
No one catches the 7th Legion unawares! Die, Horde filth!
It smells unpleasant.
Jay, where this be leading?
Out, if the troll is to be believed.
By all means, waste more time discussing it.
Alright, stay close. We all friends now. Let's cross at the bridge. Unless your prophet be having a problem with that.
Do not worry. We will know if his life is in danger.
Jump off the bridge. Now. Eh? Now.
A little more warning would have been nice.
Clearly, you did not need it.
We'll not be stopping again till we get to the docks. Say when you'll be ready.
Wait, where are the guards?
Zul is not soiling himself. It may be nothing.
Well, not nothing.
There are too many! The barrier will not hold!
Kill them before they get through! Yeah, the old wolf got our scent! We got to get out of here!
Look out!
Well now, this will be useful.
We got to get back to the canals! Follow me!
You will want to wait here.
What is it now?
Run!
From this day forward, Vol'jin, if you lead...
Yeah, they be trying to box us in. Yeah, don't let them corner us!
One would think that the City of Stone would be less flammable.
You are a cruel enemy, Zul.
But I will give...
The harbor! We must press forward!
Well, this is a fine mess we're in.
Oh, don't be acting like you're not happy to see us.
Delighted. Truly. Now let's move. On your mark. Get moving. Watch your step. It seems the Alliance's consummate diplomat will not be taking prisoners this time.
She has cut off our escape!
Stop gawking and break through that ice!
My Loa hears us. Mighty Rezan, lend me your strength!
Let's move!
Their forces must have returned from Lordaeron. How will we get through?
Already taken care of. Observe.
Wait here.
Lasan! You clever moose, man!
Are they not pursuing us?
No. But I think I know why. Look!
Fight for the glory of the...
Do not be so hasty now. You can try to subdue us and likely succeed. But do you have time to waste?
No, it can't be.
Seems a mage of your skill could be very useful right now. Hmm?
This isn't over.